Hi, so I've got absolutely no plan when doing this, so I'm just gonna say hello. Hi everyone, it's been a while. I know you guys are probably like, Raven, where's the next Tales of the Lost? But I have a lot of updates to give you guys because since we last spoke, which has almost been a year, then a lot of stuff has happened. Probably the most obvious one is you notice the lights are a little bit weird. I'm moving. I am no longer staying in this place that I essentially started Tales of the Lost in. But before I dive into that, I want to talk about the actual Tales of the Lost video and what the heck happened with that. I was working through the video and honestly I feel like I got to a point where I just didn't feel like myself. I started going to therapy, not because I wasn't feeling like myself. That actually came after or during. I started to go back to therapy to sort of like, I guess, deconstruct some of the things in my life or work on some of the blocks that I was facing, or just try to get myself back on track mentally and emotionally. And so I feel like for probably, I want to say, was it maybe the last 5 months, then it was just really hard to commit time to feeling in that mood of wanting to make videos. I was doing a lot of other stuff on the side that I felt was like nourishing me a lot more. And it's weird because like I am wanting to come back to YouTube to actually start a new series that like I actually feel really good about. But then I was like, I don't want to abandon Tales of the Lost, or like I don't want to abandon the momentum that I had with it. But at the same time, I was like, well, if you're not feeling like it anymore, then you shouldn't force yourself to produce things that you no longer have that spark for. And while this next video was something that I really cared about, and be honest with you guys, because like I don't think I mentioned it before, but I was covering the Hannah Montana anime, even though that was something that like is also within the realm of girl games and is something that I personally find to be interesting. Something was just not clicking. I got stuck on the script a lot of the times, which usually it flows seamlessly, but I found myself stuck. And then I thought to myself, okay, maybe I should continue to focus on acting gigs. Your spending changes month to month to month. And I should continue to focus on other hobbies. And I should continue to do my journaling because I started reading this book 3 months ago. I actually just finished it 3 weeks ago, but it's sort of like a self-help book for the starved artist. It's this book called The Artist's Way. This is not a shill or anything like that, but it was incredibly helpful with sort of allowing me to navigate my blocks, and like it really allowed me to help figure out like what I want from my art that I create. Taking that, doing journals every morning, and then also going to therapy, all those 3 things in one really put a lot of things into perspective for me, and really sort of helped to allow me to like hyper focus on exactly what I want to do. I still love making YouTube videos, but my love for doing the docu-series, all that effort, like almost 3 months to produce one single episode. Like, think about it. I don't have a team. I don't have like a dedicated group of people, and I don't even have really the funds to be handing those tasks out for people to do, so that all becomes easier. And I have so many colleagues where it's like they're at this point now where they have a series that they enjoy and they have a system built in. And for me, as much as I love what I did with Tales of the Lost, I never like to stay on the same thing. And see, that's why I really love screenwriting, because once you're finished writing it, sure, there's like revisions and stuff like that, but once you're finished writing it, you can move on to the next story. And I think going forward with the channel, this next documentary that has to come out when I move, it can't come out now because like things have just been like way too busy, but this will probably be, I don't know why I'm pointing at myself, this will probably be the last installment of Tales of the Lost for a while. I'm not saying that it's done, but it's the last one for a while because there's like something inside of me that really, really, really wants to move towards a new passion project on YouTube. And I think you guys might really like it. I don't want to spoil it, but it has to do with film analysis, which is adjacent to what I'm trying to do in my real life. You know, I want to be a filmmaker and screenwriter, and I've just had so much more steam for this new idea, and I cannot wait to show you guys what it looks like. Okay, that's not even like the last bit of news. Okay, that's not even the last bit of news. Before I was a YouTuber, I was a visual artist, like a self-taught painter, drawing person, whether it be realistic or cartoon. And sometimes I will do that on the side, like I will have I'll sell my art on the side. But I've realized that it feels like a lot of me doing my art in the last couple of years was more out of like necessity, like, oh, I need an extra $100, let me do a painting or this or that. But like through these last couple of months, I really had time to actually paint things that I like. And I actually got a collaboration opportunity to sell my artwork. Like, I don't know, it opens up the doors for a lot of things because it's not just art, it's also merchandise, and it's like a trusted company that has worked with several high-tier YouTubers. So I'm really confident about this, and I'm excited to integrate not only like my paintings, which I'm gonna stick a clip over there because like I have not unveiled this painting to virtually anybody, only a few people have seen this, but I'm working on a series and this is the first of many different paintings. And I don't know, it was just nice to be able to sit down and express myself through a brush. And yeah, isn't it cool? I'm really excited to show you guys the final product and to just make prints of it and like live out a little artist fantasy on the side. And yeah, when that comes out, you guys will definitely know because it will also be tied to the new YouTube series and maybe Tales of the Lost. And back to the discussion of my move, there was also another sponsor, one that I'm pretty familiar with, but this time I decided, you know, let's take a chance on that because it really lines up with everything that I'm trying to do right now. So during my move, one thing I was really excited about was shopping for new furniture. I think you know where I'm going with this. I knew that I didn't want a flashy racing chair like this guy over here because like I feel like a lot of us have learned over the last couple of years that, you know, these things are more for show than anything else and not really comfort. And I wanted something comfortable, something I could actually work in. So Flexispot reached out to me in the past, and while I liked what I saw in their catalog, I never really felt like I could fully justify doing a product review until now. When I moved, I realized I needed a new chair that could both support me through long editing sessions because I tend to go for hours, and also something that will support me when I'm doing voiceover work. That's when I took a closer look and saw how much they'd updated their catalog since a few years ago, and that's when the OC6 caught my eye. It's breathable with a mesh back support, super comfortable and lightweight, and adjustable in all the ways that matter, especially the headrest, lumbar, and arm sets. I didn't expect to love it as much as I do, but now it's genuinely become my main chair, and I'm going to be throwing this old one out. So if you're looking to upgrade your workspace, Flexispot is actually running an Amazon Prime deal from July 9th, which is today, to July 10th, with items up to 50% off. And you can check out the OC6 chair in the description below. But anyways, basically to go back to all of the healing that I did, how do I explain this? If you know, you know. When you're growing up, you don't just have one Omalaz moment. And what I mean is like, if you're like more attuned to things and if you're more conscious of things and I guess trying to better yourself as a person, then those like little mini wake up calls that you have, those mini transformations that you have emotionally and even like spiritually, then you'll find yourself at crossroads not just one time in your life where you have to make decisions that will more positively impact your health in the long run. And sometimes you can't question it because that would make you go crazy. But yes, where I'm moving is going to be so much better for me and my mental health, and I feel like I'll be able to be me again. Because another thing that I was doing on top of like the therapy, the book, the journaling, I also started taking improv classes. It was mainly because like I wanted to have something in my portfolio for acting, but when I took my first improv class, it was so surreal because it was like the way I am at home with certain people where I'm just like 100% myself is not the way that I've even been to you guys. You guys have never seen 100% me. This is probably the most 100% that I've been. And I feel like there's always been a lot of like fears and anxieties like, oh, well, if I say this, I'll sound dumb, or if I make too many jokes, then I'll just be like the loser, or like I'll be the joke basically. But being able to take my first improv class, it was so good for that little voice in my head that tries to put the reins on my emotions before they actually come out, and my thoughts, because everything was just so free-flowing. The instructor's really cool, and there were so many people there of different ages and backgrounds, and I just felt so at home. And I don't know, there was like a sweetness and willingness for everyone there to learn, and I felt comfortable for the first time in a very, very long time. Like, oh, if I say something, even if it's silly, it'll fly right over people. Like, it's not something that will be held against me or XYZ. I felt safe. And it's making me realize that there's a lot of things that I sacrificed thinking that it wouldn't give me safety when it actually did. A different kind of safety, with a more like a freedom. So yeah, I started taking improv, shot a few commercials since we last saw each other. I don't know if I already said that. I probably did. I secured 2 partnerships, one with like a really amazing art company that will be able to reprint my art, and will also be able to create merch for Tales of the Lost and the new series that I'm working on. I have this great partnership with Flexispot, and I hope to continue working with them in the future because like I'm really liking what I'm seeing. And there's 2 more things I want to touch on. I feel like I've been jumping around a little bit, but guys, I don't know how to say this, but I am so in love with writing stories. Like last year, I think when it's in my update video that I mentioned that I finished my first screenplay. It was like 114 pages. This year, I was working towards, I'm almost done, but I was working towards something else that like I really want to see come to light. And it didn't start off as something that was personal to me, but it wound up ending that way. It's kind of poetic how that happened, but it's another fantasy, and I don't know, I really like making fantasy stuff. Whether it's like somewhat sci-fi or like somewhat horror, I just am so in love with that genre, and I really hope that these creations can someday see the light of day on a big screen and not just in the confines of a paper, which is also leading into my next point. Guys, for the last 2 months, I have been working on a comic book based on my first screenplay. So I figured, okay, Raven, you already know how to draw. You already know what to do. You got the tools. You finished the screenplay. Turn it into something. So I've been working in the off time on this comic book, and I'm hoping to have it out in the next couple of months. And I'm really, really, really excited to show you guys the final product. And it's a labor of love. It's something that I put a lot of effort into and a lot of love from when I did the screenplay, and it means a lot to me, and it's festive and spooky, and I really, really can't wait to share it with you guys. And yeah, but just because I am discovering like who I am again in terms of what I love and content creation, it doesn't mean that I am abandoning the channel again. Let me just stress that. Because there's a lot of things that I want to make that I would like to showcase on to YouTube. So going forward, right now it's a little bit murky because the move, but I will say that when I'm able to get settled in my home, my place of rest, then I'll get back onto the horse to get this Hannah Montana video to you. And when that video is over, there's going to be a whole new series on the channel. It's still somewhat adjacent, obviously, because I was doing lost media stuff that was video games or TV or film. So it's still adjacent in that way. But I'm hoping that you like the new content enough to want to stay or to want to follow me on this journey. And then who knows, maybe a year from now, another Tales of the Lost will come out, but probably not soon. It's just a lot. It's all that investigating on your own, and it's also that pressure of having to find something, because I had such a good track record of finding things that it instilled this perfectionist mindset in me, where it was like, you need to find something or the video's not good. And I don't think that's fair, because so many people don't find anything and they just talk about lost media, and then they are able to go to bed at night with no issue. So yeah, it was nice checking in. You're probably going to see me a lot sooner than later. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. I actually have a callback audition in a few hours, so fingers crossed for me. Until then, I love you guys, and I will be back very, very soon. Bye.